Welcome to the Daily News English podcast. Today, we have a fun story about the past. Get ready to learn about office life in the 80s and 90s.
That's right, Anna. Our headline for today is Millennials Share Crazy Office Stories from the 80s and 90s with Gen Z.
Wow, Peter, that sounds like an interesting trip back in time. Hello, everyone. I'm Anna.
And I'm Peter. We're so happy you're here to learn English with us, using fun and interesting news stories from around the world.
Our goal is to make learning English easy and enjoyable, no matter your level. So let's start with today's story about old office culture.
So, Anna, this story is all about how young people today, called Gen Z, are totally surprised by what work was like in the 1980s and 1990s.
I know, it's like a different world. One of the biggest things mentioned is work-life balance.
Exactly. People talked about leaving work at 5 p.m. and not thinking about it again until the next day. No emails at home, no work phone calls.
Can you imagine that? No one expected you to check your computer or phone after work hours. That sounds amazing.
It really does. Today, many of us feel like we're always connected, right?
Absolutely. But in the past, once you left the office, you were truly free until the next morning.
Another big change was about team bonding. People said they became friends naturally, not because their company forced them to.
Yes, they just worked together and friendships happened. Holiday parties were for fun, not to impress the boss.
That's a huge difference. Today, many companies try hard to make teams feel like a family, but it can sometimes feel a bit fake.
Exactly. People in the 80s and 90s said they just focused on getting the job done, and that created real teamwork.
And what about professionalism, Anna? The story says things were much more professional back then.
Oh, yes. People dressed very formally. No tattoos or many piercings allowed, especially for men.
Wow, so a suit and tie every day was common? Even for women wearing professional dresses or suits?
That's right. And customer service was also much more formal and respectful. It was a different kind of image they wanted to show.
I can definitely see how that's changed. Today, many workplaces are much more casual with clothes and even how people talk.
They sure are. Now, this next part is really interesting. Some people even smoked at their desks.
What? In the office? Inside the building? That's incredible.
Yes, Peter, you could smoke at your desk, and some people even had many bars in their offices. Can you believe it?
A mini bar at work? And going to the pub for lunch? That sounds very relaxed, but also a bit strange by today's standards.
It certainly does. It paints a picture of a very different kind of work environment. But also, one person mentioned they hadn't heard of bullying or sexual harassment back then.
That's a really important point. It doesn't mean these problems didn't exist, right?
No, it likely means people didn't talk about them. Or maybe the rules and understanding of what was acceptable were very different. We've definitely learned a lot since then about creating safe workplaces.
That's a good way to put it. Now, let's talk about communication. What did they do before email?
No email. People wrote memos, which are short notes, and they were delivered by a mailroom staff a few times a day.
So if you wanted to tell many people something, you'd write it down, and someone would deliver it? That must have made things much slower.
It did. But people said this slower pace actually helped them focus more. No constant emails popping up and distracting them.
That's a good point. And they also used fax machines to send documents quickly. That was like the fast email of the time.
Exactly. And jobs weren't as stressful with insane metrics like today.
Metrics means ways to measure how well you're doing your job. So fewer numbers to hit, less pressure?
Yes, people felt there was less verbal policing, meaning fewer rules about every single word you said to customers or colleagues.
That sounds less intense. And companies used to spend a lot of money on their employees for corporate parties and bonuses.
So true. Big holiday parties with free food, drinks, and entertainment. Employees could even bring their family.
And bonuses. Extra money at the end of the year, sometimes with a holiday turkey. Companies really tried to treat their staff well.
It seems like they invested more in making employees happy and feel like part of a team.
And job security was a big thing too. People weren't as worried about losing their jobs, which is a big deal today.
Definitely. Knowing your job is safe must take away a lot of worry. Plus, companies also offered actual training.
Yes, they taught employees new skills, which helped them grow with the company. It sounds like a very different way of working, Anna.
It certainly does, Peter. It's like looking through a window into a forgotten past. Now is a great time to pause and check out the vocabulary for this story. We've got some useful words coming up.
Welcome back to the Daily News English Podcast. It's time for our Vocabulary Corner, where we help you understand some important words from today's story.
That's right. Let's start with a phrase we used a lot. Work-life balance.
So, work-life balance means how much time you spend working compared to how much time you spend on your personal life, like hobbies, family, or just relaxing.
Exactly. It's about having a good mix so you don't only work. Our next word is corporate.
Corporate means something related to a large company or business. For example, corporate parties are parties paid for by the company.
Good explanation. Next up is professionalism.
Professionalism is about behaving in a serious, respectful, and skilled way at work. So, dressing smartly or speaking politely shows professionalism.
That makes perfect sense. And we talked about metrics.
Metrics are specific numbers or ways to measure how well someone is doing their job, like how many customers you helped or how many products you sold.
So, it's like a scorecard for your work, right? Now, what about inter-office mail?
Inter-office mail is mail or messages that are sent between different offices or different departments within the same company, not outside the company.
Yes, like those old memos we talked about. Our next word is job security.
Job security means how safe you feel that you won't lose your job. If you have high job security, you feel confident you'll keep your job for a long time.
That's a great feeling to have. And finally, let's talk about cubicle.
A cubicle is a small, partly closed area in a large office where one person works. It usually has 3 short walls.
So it's your own little space in a big room. Perfect! We hope these words help you better understand today's story. All right, listeners, it's your turn to think. After hearing about work in the 80s and 90s, what do you think? Would you prefer to work in an office like the ones from the 80s or 90s? Or do you prefer today's work culture? Tell us why.
Today, we took a fun trip back in time to the 80s and 90s. We learned that work-life balance was different, with people leaving work completely at 5 p.m. Team bonding was more natural, and workplaces were often more formal in dress, but also more relaxed in some ways, like smoking at desks.
We also heard about a world without email, where communication was slower and companies often gave employees more treats, training, and job security. It was a truly different office environment.
What a fascinating discussion, Anna, and a great way to learn some new English vocabulary.
It certainly was, Peter. Thank you for joining us on the Daily News English podcast. We love helping you learn and improve your English. If you enjoyed this episode, please like this episode, subscribe to our channel for more fun lessons, and leave a comment below telling us your thoughts on 80s and 90s office culture.
We'll see you next time.
Goodbye, everyone.